Hello and welcome back to Euro Football Daily. We have already seen plenty of twists and turns throughout Europe in the 18-19 season, so here are 10 players who have completely changed their fortunes. 10. Robert Snodgrass. It's fair to say that the form of 31-year-old Robert Snodgrass has been one of the surprises of the season. The 26-capped Scotsman signed for West Ham for £10 million in January 2017 from Hull City, but just 2 assists in 15 games saw him loaned to Aston Villa for the 17-18 campaign. His form in Birmingham was faultless, with his 7 goals and 14 assists a league high with Barry Douglas, helping Villa to the playoff final. Back at West Ham, the season didn't start well, with the Hammers losing their opening 4 league games, with Snodgrass starting 3, to leave the bottom in mid-September. But Pellegrini's men have recovered, winning 9 of their subsequent 18 games, including victories over Man United and Arsenal, to lift them to 10th, just 2 points behind 7th placed Watford at the time of recording. Playing in an unfamiliar position in a midfield 3, Snodgrass has been a crucial part of their resurgence. He has not only notched his first goals for the club, but provided 3 assists. And his 2.3 key passes per 90 is the most in the West Ham squad of players to have played 500 minutes. Coupled with his 2.3 tackles and interceptions a game, and Snodgrass has made himself almost undroppable going into the back half of the 18-19 campaign. 9. Antoine Griezmann. Atletico Madrid got off to a far from convincing start in La Liga, only winning 5 of their opening 11 league games, a shock considering they spent £112 million last summer, their most in a single window for 3 years. Off the back of a World Cup triumph, Antoine Griezmann, their top scorer for the past 4 seasons, scored just once in their first 10 games. But since then, with his regular strike partner Diego Costa limited to just 890 minutes through a succession of injuries, Griezmann has netted 8 goals in the subsequent 10 games. He has also laid on 7 assists for teammates, a figure only topped by Messi. With his 3.4 shots and 2.2 key passes per 90, both at their highest in his career, and his expected goals and assists per 90 at 0.7, 0.3 more than next best Angel Correa, it's fair to say that Antoine Griezmann is almost single-handedly spearheading Atleti's unlikely title challenge. 8. Kai Havertz. In a similar vein to Los Rocky Blancos, Bayer Leverkusen started the season in disastrous fashion. This was particularly disappointing considering they finished last season 5th, level on points with Hoffenheim and Borussia Dortmund, who only topped them on goal difference. But they won just 7 of their opening 17 games, ultimately costing manager Heiko Herrlich his job over the winter break. New manager Peter Bosz will look around the dressing room and see plenty of quality, including Tar, Brandt and Bailey. But the key man this season so far has undoubtedly been 19-year-old Kai Havertz. Now in his 3rd year of senior football in the Bayer Arena, the attacking midfielder has averaged a goal contribution every 198 minutes, with 6 goals and 2 assists to his name already in 18-19. With an involvement in 30% of the club's league goals so far and having netted 3 in his last 4 league games, Havertz is playing the best football of his career at the moment, transforming his and his side season. 7. Kaan Ayhan. We'd excuse you for not knowing the name Kaan Ayhan, but the 24-year-old central defender has arguably had the most vital upturn in form out of anyone. The Schalke Academy graduate joined his current side Fortuna Düsseldorf in August 2016, when they were still in the 2nd tier. The Turkish international missed just 3 league games as the Flingeraner topped the table, returning to the top flight for the first time since 1997. It's fair to say that Friedhelm Funkel's men didn't adapt well, winning just 2 of their opening 14 games, conceding 32 goals in the process. But since December, Fortuna have been on a remarkable run, winning all 4 of their league games to drag themselves off the bottom into 14th, just 4 points off 8th place Hoffenheim. Key to their recovery has been Ayhan. He netted a brace in their 2-0 victory over Freiburg in early December, only their 2nd victory in 10 league games at the time, and kept things tight in their following 3 victories, including a shock win over Dortmund. With an average of 4.2 tackles and interceptions per 90, an 87.3% pass completion, and an average of 5 completed long balls per game, more than Mats Hummels, Ayhan seems to have a big future in the game. 6. Tomáš Vaclík. With only 1 win in their last 7 league games and 2 defeats to Athletic Bilbao and Real Madrid on the bounce, Sevilla have dropped from 2nd to 4th and now have a battle to remain in the Champions League spots. But despite this recent downturn, their 29-year-old keeper Tomáš Vaclík has been receiving some rave reviews. The Czech international only joined from Basel last summer, where he spent 4 years and picked up 3 Swiss titles. Brought in to replace the outgoing Sergio Rico, who subsequently joined Fulham on loan, Vaclík has proved himself to be one of the bargains of the season at just €6 million. He has played in every league game and is currently averaging 3.2 saves per goal, the best rate of any keeper in the Spanish top flight. Vaclík has produced some superb individual performances, not least in the club's 6-2 victory over Levante when he made 9 saves, a league high this season. His peak was definitely November when he conceded just 1 goal in 3 games, earning him the La Liga Player of the Month award. Pablo Michin badly needs Vaclík to keep this level of form if Sevilla are to secure their 2nd top 4 finish in the last 9 years. 5. Ousmane Dembélé. Widely pilloried for a supposedly poor attitude and inconsistent on-the-pitch performances, up until a few months ago, speculation was rife that Ousmane Dembélé might leave Barcelona this January. But he has answered his critics in superb fashion with 8 goals and 2 assists in all competitions since the start of December. This phenomenal form has helped Valverde's men maintain a 5-point gap at the top of La Liga. The World Cup winner's form will be no surprise to anyone who has followed his career to date. After all, the 21-year-old had scored 24 and provided 29 assists in 85 league and European games prior to this season, an average of 0.6 goal contributions every game. But this year, despite being initially used fleetingly by his under-pressure manager, Dembélé has scored 10 and assisted 14 in just 17 starts, giving him an expected goals and assists per 90 of 0.6. Of players to have played at least 500 minutes who are under the age of 23, this is the 2nd best in the division, only topped by Sevilla's Andre Silva. Now that's a way to shut up your critics. 4. Moussa Sissoko. Prior to this season, you could make a case for Moussa Sissoko being one of the worst signings in Premier League history. Bought for £30 million in August 2016 from a recently relegated Newcastle, the 55-capped Frenchman failed to nail down a starting spot, making just 27 starts across his first 2 seasons. With the addition of Lucas Moura and the return to fitness of Eric Lamela, alongside Son, Eriksen and Ali, it looked like it was going to take a miracle to resurrect his Lily-White's career. But injuries to Dyer, Wanyama and Dembélé was just the boost the former Toulouse man needed. He was given a regular role in a restructured midfield diamond, with his off-the-ball running an increasingly vital part of Spurs' attacking play. Sissoko has now not only started 2 Champions League games, including their famous 1-1 draw at the Camp Nou, but he has played over 1,300 league minutes, just 89 fewer than in the entirety of 17-18, cementing his long-term Spurs future. 3. Iñaki Williams. It's fair to say that 24-year-old Iñaki Williams hasn't quite lived up to his potential. The forward, who was scouted by the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool and Man City as recently as January 2016, has never scored more than 8 goals in a single league season, and that was 3 years ago. But this year he is set for his most productive season yet, with 7 goals and 3 assists to his name in his first 20 La Liga appearances. This form has come as a surprise, as the Spanish international, who received his solitary cap back in 2016, only netted 2 goals in the first 11 league games of the season. It can't be easy leading the line for Athletic Bilbao though, with the Basques only managing to fire off 10.7 shots a game, the 2nd worst record in La Liga behind Girona. Crucial to their resurgence has been the appointment of new manager Gaizka Garitano, who picked up 12 points in their last 6 games, more than Eduardo Berizzo managed in the entire season up to then. If Athletic are to avoid relegation and continue climbing the table, Garitano will need Williams, who has been directly involved in 50% of their league goals, to continue to fire. 2. Duván Zapata. Duván Zapata is another forward banging form, having scored 4 goals in Atalanta's 5-0 rout of Frosinone last weekend, making him the first Nerazzurri player to achieve this feat in 66 years. That was actually the 27-year-old striker's 2nd hat-trick of the season, after he banged all 3 in their 3-1 victory over Udinese last month. His goals last Sunday ensured that he scored for the 8th consecutive game, the first Atalanta player to do so in 25 years. But the Colombian, who is now Serie A's joint top scorer along with Cristiano Ronaldo and Quagliarella on 14 goals, started the season in far from convincing fashion. The ex-Napoli forward failed to score in his first 11 Serie A games of the season, finally netting in their 2-1 victory over Bologna on the 4th of November, meaning his 14 goals have come in only 10 appearances. It's an exciting time to be an Atalanta fan. Their attacking talents, including Papu Gomez, Ilicic and Zapata, have ensured they have scored 44 league goals, 3 more than second best Juve. If they had matched their expected goals and goals against, Italy's 7th best team would be ranked 4 places higher. Well done Zapata, well done Atalanta. 1. Franck Ribéry. It wasn't long ago that football pundits across the world, FD included, were resigning Franck Ribéry to the scrap heap of football history. He was a player who was supposedly at 35, too old and too slow to make a difference at the cutting edge of European football. And to be fair, Ribéry's performances in the first 3 months of the season did nothing to dispel those opinions. Going into December, Bayern were languishing in 5th, 9 points behind Dortmund, having won just 3 of their last 8 league games, and Kovac's job was hanging by a thread. Ribéry has played 253 minutes in that period and netted 4 goals, including a brace against Frankfurt and the winner against Leipzig. Averaging a goal every 63 minutes since the start of December, Bayern still have an outside chance of catching Dortmund, who are now just 6 points clear. If the 81-capped Frenchman maintains this form, who would bet against him winning a 9th Bundesliga, which would make him the most decorated player in the competition's history? So those were our 10 players who have transformed their season, but did we miss anybody out? Let us know as always in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, that would be very much appreciated, and why not go and subscribe to FDFC, where it's all popping off right now. Thanks for watching and see you next time.